Candace, you talk about, your support system. What were the most helpful what was the most helpful love and support that you got from friends and family? Because I think people really struggle with how to be there for the people they love when they go through this kind of tragedy.
Yeah. I mean, you're facing hard, right? And no one wants to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. And
did you find that some people unimaginably didn't say anything just because they didn't know what to say?
Yes. But I also, over time, understood that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
I understand that.
I understand that too. It wasn't for lack of feeling.
Not at all. I mean, not at all. It's just people don't know what to do. And there is no roadmap for this. There are no directions.
I know.
My grief compared to someone else's is totally different. So something that may feel good to me and may be comforting to me is the last thing that other person wants. So, and no one has the answer. It's really the griever has all the answers, but
doesn't even know that they have all the answers.
Exactly. Right. You really don't. So,
and also when someone says, "What can I do for you?" That's an impossible question too.
Because you're putting the weight on them.
You don't know.
You don't
know. You don't know. But
okay. But in retrospect, what was helpful to you?
I will say, my kids were so young that I couldn't leave my house without piling them all in and whatever. So just little things that I'll never forget. It was I had coffee dropped off in my door every morning and by someone. They just left it. And then a Costco order would show up with paper towels and snacks and stuff. And then, baskets of laundry, I'd come home and they'd be folded for me.
Like little fairies, invisible fairies.
Yeah, little magical sprinkles would just happen. But I think everyone wants to fix, including me. When someone is hurting, when our children are hurting, when a friend is hurting, you want to give the advice. You want to make the suggestion. You want to fix that pain. And there's no fixing this pain. And I think the most important takeaway that someone, whoever's listening can take away from this is showing up and just being present and listening is the best thing that you can do. And in Milano, I don't know if you remember this, but I was still living in New Jersey at the time. I don't know where I was going. I was driving around. I was on the phone with you. And we were having a conversation. Obviously, it was probably about Rusty in some capacity or whatever was happening in that moment. And I pulled the car over and I was sitting in the parking lot at Wells Fargo. I'll never forget this. And I just lost it. And I was crying. All the emotions were coming. And you were on the other line, not saying a word. You were just on the phone with me. And when I calmed down, you were like, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. And that I will never forget that moment because I wasn't alone in that. Try not to say anything. Just be there and listen. And, and then when there's a conversation, the question is so simple. It's how's your grief today? How are you today? I have answered people and said, I'm really shitty. Right? I don't need to say anything more than that.
Yeah. How are you today?
How are you today?
Right. Not how are you?
Not how are you?
I'm not great, actually. My husband just died. Thanks for asking, but things are really bad. But it's how are you today? Can you hear me now? That Verizon. Yes. I love commercials. The Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
And then I also think, that for me, talking about Rusty gave me the most comfort. And along the way, that, conversation or stories, they're still told, but they're less and less. And asking the question, tell me about your person. Tell me about what you guys did for Christmas. Tell me about how he celebrated your birthday. That is what, for me, and I imagine for others, is what makes you smile.
Mm. Whereas I would imagine that these people would think that doing that would bring up more pain, and dredge up,
Right. It's counterintuitive.
Yeah, it is
Right.
a little counterintuitive, unless you've been in your shoes.